Good afternoon, everybody. We thank you for joining us today for this webinar on Maxtech Ventures. My name is Jake Willoughby, and I'm a Vice President of Research and Analyst at Red Cloud Securities. Joining me remotely today is Peter Wilson, CEO of Maxtech. We'll begin today's webinar with a presentation from Peter, followed by a question and answer period. As a reminder, you can type in your questions at any time into the chat, and we'll try and go through as many of those as we can during our allotted time. But before we begin, we'll go over the disclosures for this webinar. For Maxtech, there may be some forward-looking statements made in this webinar, and I would direct listeners to the cautionary note on page 2 of the company's corporate presentation, located on the company's website. For Red Cloud Securities, Inc., I would highlight that this webinar is for information purposes only, should not be considered a solicitation to purchase or sell securities or a recommendation to buy or sell securities. Also, we note that this call does not take into account the particular situation or needs of individual investors. Participants should rely on their own investigations and seek their own professional advice before investment. Red Cloud specific disclosures regarding Maxtech are the following. In the last 12 months preceding the date of issuance of the research report or recommendation, Red Cloud Securities, Inc. has performed investment banking services and has been retained under a service or advisory agreement by the issuer. And now I'm very happy to introduce you to Peter Wilson, CEO of Maxtech Ventures.
Good afternoon, Jake. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good, good. We're all surviving at home pretty well, maybe a little too comfortably.
Yeah.
In my case, for sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining the very first webinar of Maxtech Ventures, specifically focused in Red Lake exploration. I'm not sure how many of you know about a company, but last October, we acquired an option from Benton Resources to earn into 100% ownership of the Panama Lake project, which had historic ownership from Noranda and Goldcorp and extensive drilling by Benton just late last year itself. We've recently begun a drill program that is fully underway with 5 geos in the field. So I'm the one that's left back at home, wondering what's going on, but looking at all the wonderful pictures and reports at the end of the day. I don't want to drag this on too long because these things tend to get too complicated, so let's just get into the presentation. Maxtech Ventures, obviously, we're listed on the CSE, Frankfurt, and over the OTC, so we're in 3 markets. And we're trading, by the way, very well in the US today, as I noticed. Our forward-looking statement, I think it was already covered within this presentation. Management, myself, I've been in the banking side of the resource sector for almost 30 years now. I had some great success with an exploration company in Botswana, Africa, called Hana Mining. We built that up into a $600 million market cap company at the end of the day. I'm joined by 2 specifically specialized geologists, Avram Howard and James Rogers. James is the project lead at the moment in the field. He was responsible for the discovery of the Red Lake high-grade gold mine. So there's 35 plus years of exploration history and knowledge in the Red Lake region. The project highlights as our premier project and our flagship project is that obviously we're in a world-class mining district known for high-grade deposits. I believe 4 have been discovered in the last 2.5 years. So obviously the greatest jurisdiction in the world, being Canada, the high-grade, provinces in Ontario and Quebec are our focus. We're located 60 or 70 kilometers east of Great Bear Resources' Dixie Lake discovery, which is obviously very intriguing. We're located, close to other producing gold mines, and Red Lake has had over, 25, 28 million ounces produced to date. Our land package is 11,700 hectares, so it's large. Again, historic exploration by some very big companies, and some great data has been derived from that. And of course, our data room is filled with quite a stack of documents, over 250 of them actually, of information. So it's not an early stage exploration project. It's quite an advanced stage exploration project. In 2018, Benton Resources intersected, some decent gold values. I think they drilled 9-12 holes, and every one of them intersected gold. So they know there's gold in the system. And there's some interesting targets that we're actually over as we speak that we're hoping are going to be compelling. One of the attributes of the property is that it hosts one of the highest gold grain counts in till sampling, sampled by the Ontario Geological Survey in the entire Red Lake District. So there's lots of things to follow up on target-wise on such a large property. Our drilling plan, which began a week ago, is to test and find the high-grade gold zones, obviously. And what that means is a success would be an intercept of, 25 grams over 2 meters, 10 grams over 5, or 2 over 25. But within the big picture, the Panama project sits on deep-rooted fault architecture that lies 60, 70 kilometers east and on trend with Great Bear Dixie Lake discovery. Detailed geophysics completed in the summer of 2019 by Benton shows the entire target area to consist of deformed, folded, and faulted mixed metavolcanics in patterns similar to the Cochinor mine in Red Lake. So we're in a good area. This map shows our relation to Great Bear, the structural trends, the faults, these deep-rooted mafic centers, are systematic in the area. Benton sampling, and the gold grain counts are noted in the area, but we'll move on to a map that's not so convoluted. Here's a logging road access map. The guys are using helicopters and boats, when necessary, but it's a very favorable access. You can see Ear Falls almost lower center there, which is the base of operations and where the core shack lies. And our proximity to Great Bear, of course. Here we have the two primary targets on the drilling that's actually happening as we speak. Just trying to get back to you. Sorry, I had to slip up there. Pad A and Pad B. Pad A, obviously I'll get into the points of the drilling program itself and in the following slides. But Pad B is where we are right now. We finished the first 2 holes at Pad A. So our entire program is proposed of 4,000 meters. Diamond drilling has been laid out from 3 different setups to target the deformed, disrupted, and folded Panama target areas, which means we're after the same things that the Great Bear was after. We're drilling in different rocks in the opposite direction. So the plan is to conduct a 2,000 meter drilling program with a helicopter supported program. Obviously, we're right into that right now. The following slides you'll see is more defined work and where we're following up in Arana, Goldcorp, and Benton Resources exploration program. The targets that are tested are the North Fold and the gold grains up ice, which is where the pristine gold grains were found. So we're looking for that host rock. 4 500-meter holes at negative 45 degree will be drilled from 2 of the 3 planned setups, labeled A and B in the subsequent slides. So each setup will cover 800 meters of geology instead of 400. So we're getting twice the bang for the buck by drilling across the setting to get more information. Late 2019, Benton flew a mag survey, and just prior to us acquiring this option, had interpreted the data, and therefore we came up with the primary drilling targets as you see here. So this is what we're initially after, these fold nose targets that are identical to what Great Bear has been experiencing. And this is where they've been finding the high grade zones. So these interpretations here from the MAG survey are the three main targets that we're looking for, and the fourth target will be determined based on what we find here. So again, some original Panama zone drill results, gold in the system, decent values, nothing economic, but we know there's gold there and we're following up in different directions. So the drilling is underway. The first 2 holes drilled in pad, which are complete, by the way, is designed to look up ice from the gold grain count found by the Geological Survey, and where the Benton gram samples, average 6.17 grams per ton. And the second holes on pad B are to follow up the results they confirmed by Noranda, but you'll see in the next map that there are 2 Panama exploration targets. One is the west target, which I'll point out to you in a second here. North Fold is exactly what we're after. So pad A is complete, the up ice target. Pad B is called Panama West. And as you see in yellow, it says Panama Zone, the 1.2 kilometers wide space drilling intercepts. Pad B is where we're sitting right now, looking right into those fold nose closures as identified by the blue sort of S interpretation. So that's where we are right now. This gives you a little bit of a further backup view of the direction that we're drilling and what we're doing next. That's the quick and focused version of the presentation. The core shack, obviously, there's a couple of guys in the core shack. We have 5 geologists up there right now. These are some of the mobilization pictures. You'll find these in this presentation and or more technical detail of the exploration project and the property on our website at www.maxtech-ventures.com. The company is currently revamping its website for a brand new launch, which should be complete here early next week, if not tomorrow. So look for that, and any other detailed information that anybody would like to ask me, they can go ahead and shoot some questions in. I would follow up this with the corporate structure. We have 72 million shares issued and outstanding, very tight share structure, and that not a lot of stock has been issued at these lower levels that we're currently trading at. We've had a market cap of $50 million twice in our history on not the assets that I think we currently have or that we're looking at. We are in acquisition mode as well. There's a few things that we like a lot in both the James Bay area, where we have an asset next to Azimuth, which is now starting to drill their property again after the COVID-19 shutdown. So we look to focus on those assets and put out some more information here in the next short term on those assets. We're also in a current financing mode right now, which ends, I think, in about a week at our current valuation. Flow through 9 cents, and the hard dollars are at 8.5 cents. We're funded for this program, so we look forward to the results, and they're in the truck on the way to the assay lab as we speak. So the guys are working fast, and the weather is cooperating very, very well. So a few more pictures for you guys. Go ahead and ask me some questions if you have any.
Yeah, so first question is in reference to the Cochinor mine. One of the participants asking who owns that mine at present?
That I don't know. That's a Jim Rogers question, and since he's in the field, I don't have him with me. He's my expert of 38 years in the field. So
yeah, I'm not that familiar with it myself, so I can't help you with that one.
The experience of this guy alone is so invaluable to us. I mean, he really has worked. If you take a closer look at his resume on the website, he's worked for so many companies in senior positions. I mean, he's forgotten more than he'd ever learn again. I mean, it's great experience. We're very lucky to have the guys that we have. We've got 2 very experienced senior geologists and I think we have 3 or 4 in the field. So, even young, smart, technical team. This program is working very, very smoothly and very quickly. And we got lucky with the weather as well, because we started probably 3 weeks earlier than we ever planned to, because the melt happened faster.
Great. So when did you actually get in to start mobilizing? Was it 3 weeks ago or something like
a week last Saturday.
Oh, just that recent. Okay.
Yeah.
Another question asking about the orientation of the trend at the Dixie project that Great Bear has. And I believe it's sort of west-northwest over there, whereas you have some tight S folding and it's kind of looks more like a northeasterly sort of trend.
You can see it trend, south-southwest. And then it can change again, but the whole fault system does come northwest.
Okay. Yeah. So
as interpreted. I mean, I'm not the map reader of the world, so it's been interpreted that way. And of course, the MAG survey has been, detailed by Benton's team, Maxtech's team. They've come together with the drill targets. This is where they think the up ice targets were going to be, the Panama West zone, where they had success before, and they entered into a pretty prolific, gold zone, and that's what they're looking to, to discover. And they're drilling it in several different directions, which has been the success of Great Bear.
Yeah, I mean they have some high grade, and then they also have some disseminated mineralization. So that's how I think they're building up such a big following, is they have 2 different distinct kinds of mineralization, and then that's a good, easy way to build up a lot of ounces. So it's a good problem to have.
And very successful stock. It's $12 again today, wasn't it?
I hadn't looked at it today, but
we're doing very, very well.
Yeah. This question from one of the participants asking about if you could maybe talk a bit about your James Bay project.
Sure. Obviously, it was a timely acquisition next to Azimuth. It's not large. It's only 200. Well, we have now 3 of this. The main one that's contiguous to their property, closest to Elmer focus, is 216 hectares. And although it's small, it's attracted a little bit of interest, but we've been focused on this drilling program. So our mapping is now complete. We're looking for some historical, geophysical data that's, with the government. We're putting all that together, and it'll happen in the next week or so. But we're also looking at some acquisitions in the same area. It's a hot area. We like it. We're looking at some things with ounces in the ground, which will give a base value to our company and something we can expand on if it happens. So, we're not just the Red Lake company. It's our flagship, it's our focus, it's our full excitement, and that's where we've been focused. So, give it a week or 2 and you'll start to see a lot of stuff on the new website with respect to the James Bay property and our plans for it.
Great. So we'll stay tuned for that. There's another question here asking what is the dollar drill budget for this year, and how much would you say you spent so far, if you have those numbers handy?
Funny enough, this whole crisis has lowered costs and expectations of everything from aviation fuel to manpower. I can't tell you that we've shaved off 15% of our originally projected budget, which was about $900,000. So it's cheaper than that. It's also moving quicker than we anticipated. So manpower is going to be, less. And then it'll all depend on sort of the back end of the program and what they decide as a team collectively as to what the next focus is, after the first 2,000 meters, because, if there's success in one area, then maybe they want to change their focus into that area. But it's just depending what they find. And, I don't know what they're finding. I read the reports and I wish I could tell you more.
Sure. There's another question. It's actually a great question, asking if you could talk a little bit about your obligations in your earning to get to your 100% level from Benton.
Yeah, of course. So the entire earn-in over 4 years is $1.7 million. And that's derived over a back-end heavier option at the end of the term, which means if there's a $200,000, 200, 250, 250, 350 at the end of the day in the 4th year, it's easy for us to expend that capital in the ground from an obligation standpoint. We will earn through this program alone, likely. So it'll all be done within the first year and a half, depending on how much we accelerate the program, depending on what we find. So that from the perspective of the in-ground earn-in, the rest is cash payments. Similar program, let the property prove itself, and we pay in cash or shares at our discretion. 250, 300 until we get to the 700 over the 4th year. But we've accelerated all of this so quickly. The original MEG interpretation we bought from Benton as a goodwill gesture to make sure that that we were in the know and that the data was on both sides so that we could interpret it together to find out what the next best targets were.
Right. Okay. Question from on the line asking management's ownership of the stock collectively, and if at present there's any institutional shareholders on the registry.
I believe some institutional shareholders participated in the last flow through. I don't have those numbers in front of me. So I would say a light yes. The management and directors ownership, including options and insider ownership, plus or minus 12%. That's a slide that's being updated as we speak. So we're incentivized, and there could be some other, through a discovery, some pretty excited people that'll join our side from the institutional prospects.
Sure.
We've been curtailed. There's no doubt, and there's a lot of companies have with this pandemic, and it's working from home isn't easy when I'm used to being on a plane and being in front of people. Haven't been able to do that. Haven't been able to get to Europe. Haven't been able to attract the investment face to face from the relationships that I've had over 25 years. Hopefully that changes for us. So it's a new dynamic for us, but we're doing what we said we would do. We're getting in the ground. We're drilling. It's exciting. I'm hoping and we can put out some news on some things that we're assaying almost immediately to keep the interest going in what we're doing, especially in this Red Lake project. We all know the second quarter numbers globally are not going to be pretty. It's going to be good for gold. The March numbers were anything to shake your or to be proud of. But it's going to get worse, I think, on the economic side, which is great for gold and silver. And we want to be there, making sure that we're in the focus of the investors' eyes.
Right. Another question from participant, good question, asking about any NSRs or other royalties on the Panama property. 2%
royalty, 1% buyback, $1 million, standard stuff.
And that's held by the vendors, Benton, or?
Correct, yeah.
So you said, I think you had 2 holes completed. You mentioned about 400 meters or so was sort of your intended depth on those?
Yeah, the intended depth were 500 meters a hole, so about 250 straight down. But again, that's designed to get a bigger geological picture of the environment. So they are complete, logged, and obviously in the box, and some of them are on their way to the assay lab as we speak. Pending the timing on that, we should be releasing some of those post haste. So I wish I could tell you more. I'm not there. I'm just not there. I'm talking to you guys. I'm sitting here. Not that I'm sure the fishing's great up there too, but the boys are busy. I heard the other day that one of the so let me just mention that we are also having we're doing an expanded sort of exploration program, above and beyond the drilling side, which has been the focus to test these, these high priority targets. But they're in the field. They're sampling. They're trenching. They're testing historical stuff. I mean, these guys walked 15 kilometers the other day, one day, 15 kilometers. Like that's a big trip for a couple of guys in the middle of nowhere that are, sampling and GPSing, data coordinates to make sure that we've got other targets. We've got, it's a big piece of property. There's lots to look at. And listen, it's Red Lake. Red Lake, there are more gold deposits in Red Lake. It's just a matter of finding them.
Yeah. Another question from, just asking to follow up there. So I gather you don't have any actual assay results yet, so maybe a couple of weeks for results to get out to the market, kind of? Yep. I'd say that's probably, depending on how busy the lab is, and I don't know how busy they are, but they're very close by. I mean, they're in Thunder Bay, so it's, right. We're right there. Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of companies, and some of them expected the labs to be very quick because there wasn't as much drilling, but they're running at a kind of a skeleton crew, so they're not actually able to go extra fast because there's not that much core to be assayed. Either there's no business because there's no core, or there's not enough people to deal with the core. It's to say 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right? Right. Okay, well, that's excellent, and we really appreciate you taking the time to tell us about Maxtech. We're excited about this story. There hasn't been a lot of new exploration in the Red Lake area for quite some time, and obviously the Great Bear success, we focused everybody into the area and understanding that south of Red Lake there's definitely gold there, and you've got to get out and drill that stuff. Yeah, well, that's the only way you find it. So yeah. So we're excited. I think we're one of the cheapest entrances into one of the more advanced stage exploration projects in the entire Red Lake district. I mean, we have the potential. We've got the share structure potential. We've got the team. There's no doubt about that, with Benton included, because those guys are excellent, excellent guys, and experienced team, and they're in Thunder Bay. They're close by to Jim Rogers, who lives there as well. I mean, it's walking distance from his home to get to the office, so there's very close contact. So everybody's is very focused on this, and again, I can't be happier as a CEO to be watching this from afar and hearing the reporting that's coming back in. It's very professional. It's very fast. Everyone's getting along really well, and they're getting their job done. So, as I said, it's happening faster than I would have expected under the circumstances. Well, that's excellent. Thanks very much, Peter, and thank you all for attending. Our next webinar is actually tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're very happy to be presenting Blue Thunder Mining Corporation. With them, we will have Chad Williams, who's chairman and founder of Red Cloud. He's also executive chairman at Blue Thunder. Along with him will be the company's CEO, Rob Sinitz, and they're going to talk about their exploration properties in Quebec, around the Chibougamau area. And then we have another webinar on Thursday, also at 2 p.m. This one will be with Lumina Resources and Luminex. Lumina exploring in Ecuador, very large copper gold deposit there. So we'll learn all about them on Thursday. Once again, thank you very much, Peter, and thank you all for attending. Thanks, Jake. Have a good day. You too. Cheers.